The 1980s was a time for entertainment in emerging pop stars like Michael Jackson, Madonna, and Prince. But it was also a time for drugs such as cocaine.
It happens frequently, and it happened again last night. A cocaine arrest, this one at Miami International Airport. A Canadian accused of trying to smuggle 3 pounds of cocaine into this country in 3 pairs of platform shoes. Its estimated value on the streets, $700,000. Authorities say there's an avalanche of cocaine crossing our borders, and in an earlier report, we looked at the controversy surrounding its use.
Cocaine is extracted from the coca plant that can be found in the Andean highlands located in South America. The 1980s also introduced one of the world's most dangerous men. His name was Pablo Escobar. Pablo was born in Rio Negro, Colombia in 1949. Pablo Escobar soon moved to Envigado in the suburbs. Ever since he was younger, he wanted to be president of Colombia, but in the early 1970s, he got into the cocaine business. Pablo soon controlled over 80% of the cocaine that was being smuggled into the United States.
Pablo shipped about 15 tons of cocaine that was being brought in by planes and boats, and also used women to get the drugs into the USA. Pablo was soon on a fast track to tremendous wealth and made the Forbes list on the world's most richest billionaire. Pablo used his wealth to also help out his country and build schools and shelters for the poor. People saw him as a savior and guardian angel. So Pablo got elected to be in Colombia's Congress in 1982, but when he was forced to resign, he became a monster and waged war against his country.
Pablo killed over 3,000 people during the 80s, and from his homicidal acts, victims would include politicians, journalists, and ordinary people. Pablo Escobar also bombed a plane and killed 100 people, including 2 Americans. But while Escobar waged war and created catastrophe, DEA agent Steve Murphy decided enough was enough.
Steve Murphy is a native of Tennessee and soon moved to West Virginia. He got his education at West Virginia University and then went to Bluefield State College. He graduated in 1981 with his criminal justice degree. Steve Murphy soon was hired to work for the DEA and went to go work in Miami, Florida, but was transferred to Bogota, Colombia to bring down Pablo Escobar 4 years later. Steve Murphy knew the risk of going to Colombia at this time, as there was a $300,000 bounty on all DEA agents' heads.
But Steve Murphy put all his fears aside to bring Escobar down. Steve Murphy had just adopted 2 daughters with his wife, and when he moved to Colombia, he wasn't only putting his life at risk, but also his family's life as well. The United States spent a lot of money just to capture Pablo Escobar, but this was proven to be a very difficult task because the public was infatuated with him and wouldn't help the CNP or the Colombian National Police bring him to justice. So it was as if Steve Murphy and his partner Javier Pena were chasing a ghost. Pablo was untouchable. He got away with murder and drug trafficking, but still managed to live lavishly.
But just how did Pablo Escobar get away with all of his crimes? The excessive amount of corruption done in Colombia, that's how. Pablo wasn't only ruthless, but he was smart as well and knew how to use his resources. He had forces working in the police force and government. He also had people all around the world working for him and protecting him so that he would not get caught. Many of the government officials who helped only did so that they would get money in return. In a country that had a poor economy and low incomes, money could get people to do practically anything.
The U.S. really wanted Pablo to be captured. In 1991, Pablo surrendered and went to a prison named La Catedral, and it was created by Pablo himself. It included a nightclub, a casino, and a spa, though the prison was protected by his own henchmen. Escobar had escaped his man-made prison because the Colombian police wanted him to go to an actual prison. Steve Murphy and Javier Pena were on the call once again and had to track Escobar for 16 months straight, along with more than 600 Colombian National Police and Navy SEALs. But sooner or later, Pablo would slip up and end up getting caught. So on December 2nd, 1993, the day after Pablo's birthday, he was shot on a rooftop in Medellin, Colombia by the CNP. The death of Pablo Escobar brought joy to some and despair for others. For Steve Murphy, he was delighted because Pablo had killed many close friends he had who were police officers. Even though Pablo was known as a ruthless man, he was a family man and would do anything for them. So after all that has happened, where are they now? His son Sebastian Marquin is now an architect and has written a book called Pablo Escobar, My Father, and he's also made a movie called The Sins of My Father. His sister Manuela Escobar is more reserved and doesn't like to be in the media's light. However, their mother, Maria Victoria Henao, died in 1993 and didn't do much after the death of her husband. But how were the cops able to get Pablo Escobar? Well, he was taking too long on the phone with his wife and son talking about his birthday, and they were able to pinpoint where he was. He took too long on the phone with them, and the cops were able to figure out that he was in Medellin, Colombia, and shot him down on that rooftop. With all the amounts of drugs that was coming into America and killing young people, Pablo was enjoying life. Pablo was ruthless and was killing people through his supply of drugs and his hired hitmen to take out people he saw as a threat. In the 80s, over 3,000 people were killed by Pablo's assassin Popeye. Children were also included in the killings, but Pablo showed no remorse towards anybody.
Soy el fuego que arde tu piel, soy el agua que mata tu sed, el castillo, la torre, yo soy la espada que guarda el caudal, tú el aire que respiro yo, y la luz de la luna en el mar, la garganta que ansío mojar.
Thanks to Steve Murphy and his partner Javier Pena, they made this world a little bit more safer by taking Pablo Escobar off the streets. And for that, they deserve a big thank you.